Hi Anna, thank you for coming in today. I understand you had a phone call from one of my colleagues this morning.
Yeah, I did actually, and I was a bit fed up about it, to be honest with you.
Were you?
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of in the middle of, doing my stuff with my teenage kids and everything, and suddenly I get this phone call, telling me that I've got chlamydia.
Right.
And actually, I just came along for the test, just to be on the safe side, really, so I wasn't expecting it. But I think somebody shouldn't do that on the phone. I've got my teenagers in the background. I didn't want them to hear all about it, that I'd been, to a sex clinic.
Yeah.
And I was really irritated.
Yeah.
And I've just been worried ever since.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had that phone call at such a difficult time. It was obviously quite a shock for you.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it at all. I mean, I know you can say, well, I came along, so I could have, but I was just doing it as a precaution, really.
Yeah, and I think it's brilliant that you did.
Right.
To come and have a sexual health screen was such a really good idea. You didn't have any symptoms. I just had a quick look at your notes from before, when you came a week ago, and you didn't have any symptoms, so weren't aware that you had an infection.
So it's
good that we've found that you have an infection that we can really easily treat for you today.
So what does it mean then?
Just means we just give you 4 tablets today, and then that's it.
And
but there are other issues around it. Is this a good time to? Would it be helpful if I talked a little bit more about chlamydia and why we need to treat it?
Yes, it would be useful,
That's
because I don't really know much about it.
Sure, okay. So chlamydia is a really common but very easy to treat sexually transmitted infection.
Right.
It is important that we treat it. If we don't and it's left untreated, then it can cause other problems. So for women, it could, say, track upwards into your womb or fallopian tubes and cause problems there, infection and inflammation.
But that couldn't have happened
yet. And in men,
yet.
it could happen that way too, infecting their testicles. No, you don't have any symptoms, so I think this is something that we've caught quite early.
Okay.
So that's why it was so good that you came in to have the screen.
Right.
There are some other issues that we haven't yet talked about. When someone has chlamydia, what we do is we look back over the last 6 months just to look at what other partners might be involved so that they have the opportunity of having treatment too.
Right.
Now, looking back at the sexual history that you explained for us when you came in last time, I see you're with your ex-husband about 5 months ago, is that right?
Yes.
That you last had sexual contact with him?
Yeah. We split up about 5 months ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
How would that be for you to let him know about the infection that we found?
Oh, God, no, I don't want him to know.
Really?
No,
That would be difficult.
Well, he's very, very tricky. And, no, I really don't think it's a good idea he knows about this. I mean, he's already saying quite poisonous things to the kids about
Is
me.
he?
Yeah, and I don't want him to have any excuse to have any more ammunition against me.
Right, so it sounds like things are really difficult between you.
Oh, yeah, he's a very, very difficult man.
Right, yeah.
He didn't take at all well separation,
Right. If there was an option of someone else contacting him, say myself, that's something we could do with something called provide a referral. It just means that I can contact him, obviously with your permission and your consent, and let him know that he might have been exposed to an infection that we can easily treat for him, but not disclosing your identity in any way at all. How would that be?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, there was only a crossover of wants anyway, that we did one last, quite blunt, but one last ditch attempt at having, we weren't having much sex towards the end of the relationship. So, I mean, unless he's gone off with somebody else, then, which I don't, as far as I know, he hasn't met anyone else, then if you make that phone call, he's just going to think it's come from me, isn't he? And then he's, knowing the way he is, he'll just then tell the kids, oh, your mum's been da-di-da-di-da.
So you're right, some people do track back and try and work things out to link it to a particular person.
So I'm not sure, really. I don't really want him to know, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I guess it's just trying to look at how you would feel. You would prefer somebody to let you know if there was a risk of infection.
Yeah, I don't feel very charitable towards him at the moment, and I think in a way it's up to him to take responsibility for himself. He's never done it, so it's about time he started.
Okay. Perhaps it's something we could have a think about.
Okay.
But that option is there
Okay.
of our help for you with that, because I can see how difficult it is.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's something we could just think through. You could think through over the next week.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so just sort of moving on, around the time that relationship was finishing, you had a partner then?
Yes, I did. Just
Okay.
that was very brief.
Right, and are you still in touch with him at all?
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing him in any shape or form, but
yeah.
I see him. It's a bit tricky.
Yeah.
that was a very short-lived thing, and it was my friend's husband, one of my friend's husbands. So,
Okay.
So yes, I see him sort of in the because of we have the same social network.
Right.
But
So it's obviously a very sensitive situation.
yeah.
Is there any chance that you will be able to let him know that he ought to be screened or access some treatment, perhaps in an
God,
email
it's a
or a
nightmare,
text?
isn't it? I mean,
It's complicated for you, I can see.
I'm sure there'll be a moment I can find when I can tell
Okay.
him, but then he's going to have to tell his wife, isn't he?
Only if he had a test that was positive. So we would be offering him, if he came here,
Yeah.
we would be offering him a screen.
Blimey. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see that I need probably to try and tell him, but I'll just have to find the right moment to do that.
Okay, okay. And you're with someone new now, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Was he aware you were coming for a sexual health screen?
No, I didn't tell him. No. I mean, you know, it seems to be quite a good relationship, but because it's so early days, you know, you don't want to. You know, I'd feel like I was a bit of a slapper if I, you know, said, "Oh, I'm going off for a sexual health screening." You know, just like something like I'm going down the pub or something. You know, it wouldn't seem quite right, would it? So, no, I didn't tell him. No.
So he may have the infection too, and if he wasn't treated, then there'd be a risk he would just pass the infection back to you.
Right.
So it sounds like it's something that we need to think through.
Okay.
Had you thought about a way you could let him know? I know you haven't had much time at all to think any of these things
Yeah.
through.
I mean, obviously, I know I have to tell him really by what you're saying. It's not going to be easy, but I will do that. I'll do that.
Perhaps bringing it up talking about that you've had a sexual health screen might be a good way in.
Yeah, Okay.
Because something that I'm going to advise you today is not to have any kind of sexual contact for the next 7 days.
Okay.
So there would be implications for your relationship there.
Yeah.
So the earlier he accesses his treatment, the better.
Right, because
Because it'll be 7 days after his treatment too.
oh, okay, I see. So we should both have it at the same time.
Closer
ideally.
together is
Yeah.
ideal. It's less pressure
Okay.
then for you.
Okay.
Okay, so just to summarise, you've got the option of the help I said I could provide by contacting your ex-husband, though there's obviously some really big difficulties there about how we're going to manage that, but that's something maybe to think through this week.
Okay.
You think if you find the right time, you're going to be able to contact your other partner for around that time?
Yes.
And it's something that, although it's difficult, it's something you think you can bring up with your partner at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're saying that kind of once all that's done and I've taken these tablets,
Yeah,
there's nothing else to worry about.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
How would it be if I rang you in, say, a week's time to see how things have been? But I know you had a difficult conversation this morning.
Yeah, you can do that, but could you please try and do it when, you know, the kids are at school?
Of course.
So they, you know, ideally before 3:30 in the afternoon would be, you know, and sort of maybe sometime after 8:30.
Okay, that's no problem. So if I ring you sometime between 8:30 and 3:30
Yeah.
in a week's time?
Yeah, that would
Just
be
to see
okay.
how things have gone and see how
Okay.
we can help you if we need to.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have any other questions at all?
No, there's a lot there to think about, to be
Sure.
honest.
Okay,
I need time to think about how to do all those things, but
of course,
I'm relieved that it's sorted, really, that it's not, you know, that's something I can get rid of.
absolutely. Okay, I'll ring you in a week then, as we arranged.
Thanks very much.
Okay.